Hi everybody.
Welcome back. He's Justice.
And she's Faith.
And together we make the Justice and Faith Show.
And so I'll let you think.
Yes, we wanted to say a big thank you to those of you who are participating on everything, liking, subscribing. And I know we have a couple new subscribers, so hi. It's nice to have you with us. We're super excited that we've gone international. We have a couple listeners that are outside of the States, which is ridiculously exciting. So just keep telling your friends, your family, sharing,
Mexico.
liking, all that stuff.
No.
So yeah, it's pretty exciting. And now he has an announcement to make.
So we're going to be changing up things just a little bit. We're going to be going to a bi-weekly format as far as the topical discussions that we've been doing for the last month and a half, 2 months, where we're giving you content every week. We want to go bi-weekly because Faith takes time to edit and add things, and I take time to kind of look at a few of the other things, and I want to do some branding and some marketing things. I want to find out how to grow, build our audience better. I want to look and see exactly what people are into, and I want you guys to kind of get to know us better outside of this.
Yeah.
For some people, this can get a little preachy. I listen to the podcast. So for me to listen to us speak, I actually enjoy it because I actually enjoy listening to the dialogue that we have. But I know for some people, depending on the situation, it can sound preachy. It can be a little bit much. So I want to find a different way for you all that are watching and listening to connect with us.
Yeah.
So if you're listening on our podcast, please do check out our YouTube video. Please check out the Instagram page because there's going to be other content about daily stuff we do, working out, stuff with Arabella, the kiddo. Because she wants to get involved, but I told her not yet. We have a specific topic that I want to bring her in. I want her insight. But there's a lot of things that we have in the works, so we want to make sure that we're giving ourselves a little bit more time to make sure that we're providing better content. We want to do some things as far as like background and different things like that. So there's a lot of work to be put in. We don't want to rush the content. We don't want to.
We're having a lot of fun doing this. It's something that I feel like I speak for both of us when I say that we're really enjoying doing this together. It's so much fun. So we want to do it well. So that's what we're trying to. Yeah.
So there's going to be some experimentation and things like that. So we're probably going to be doing a few mini formats. So we're doing like 5-10 minute things like a wine with Faith or something like that.
Get together and drink some wine.
Cocktails with Justice. I'm not sure if anybody notices this or not, but almost every time we do a podcast, I'm drinking something. So this is just a little bit of the bubbly. No, this is just a little bit of wine. Just a side note for anybody who watched our fitness one, this is not good wine.
No,
is not. I went and because yesterday she asked me to buy wine and I didn't do it. I failed as a husband, and I was all night long. I was like, I can't believe that I forgot to get her wine. But I've been drinking red wine, specific wines that have certain properties and things like that. But I typically
just can't do it.
Yeah, I typically have
it needs to be sweet for me.
drinks. So for anybody who wants to join in and watch or listen to us, you want to have a drink in your hand just to kind of decompress, just check it out. We're going to be dropping different videos. It might be some rants. It might just be some random thoughts. We have a lot of thoughts about things that aren't necessarily related to marriage or relationships particularly. We know everybody's not in a relationship, and so our content might not be for you. Everybody's not married, and because of the way that our marriage is and the way that we present things, that some people can be a little bit off-put by the fact that a lot of the things we do are faith-based or Bible-based and things like that. And if you're not a person or if you're not people who necessarily are at that point, or you don't know where you want to go with that, you might feel a little bit turned off by that. We want to make sure we're reaching more people, whatever stage of life you are. So this particular content may not be for you after you watch a few episodes, but we want to make sure we're giving you something that is, so that you can say, okay, there's more to them than just this aspect of it. We like to have fun. We like to enjoy ourselves. Everybody else in this house is a goofball. I have my moments. But so we're just going to be changing
maybe we'll
that.
talk. Maybe one of the times we get together and talk about and drink some wine. Maybe we'll talk about Disney, or we'll talk about different movies. Oh my goodness, I love movies. I love TV shows. We're big movie buffs, but we don't like the same types of movies.
Maybe you should do a live if you do that.
Talk about a movie. Yeah, that would be fun.
Like do a live or something. So we're going to be we're going to be tinkering around with a few different things. So just keep an eye out.
Yeah.
It's going to be more than just the podcast. It's going to be more than just our regular content that's been on YouTube. It's going to be more. I think Instagram has other content.
Yeah, Instagram is fun. I've been doing that for my, like, I'm basically the one in charge of that. And it's fun. We have like little boomerang videos, and like I want to start doing like some lives on there, and like I've been trying to put like collages and pictures and different things of us working out and our meal prep, and like it's still very tailored to some of the stuff we talk about, like health and starting a health journey and like marriage and just like your significant other and how to like help in a blended family and all that good stuff. So it is still very tailored to that, but like it's fun.
So still a lot of changes, a lot of growth, a lot of branding. I'm not sure if anybody's noticed, but we have, there's there's a new symbol. I don't know if it's across all formats, but we're just doing different things to kind of substantiate our individual just
this
aspect
symbol right
of,
here. It's gonna be inserted right in here on the YouTube video.
but yeah, we're working on a lot of different things right now. So we just wanted to make sure anybody who is looking for weekly content, because in our trailer, in our description, we do say weekly content. We're going to change that to say, bi-week. We'll also have weekly content. It just won't be directly the same. So if you're an Anchor or a Spotify or a Breaker listener, then you might say, hey, well, there's no content. Please do check us out on our platforms if you have it. We'll try to make it worthwhile for you as much as we can. The more that you get to know us, the closer I think you'll feel. The more I think you'll feel like you can reach out. You'll see that you might be able to relate to her in a lot of ways, and relate to me in a lot of different ways, and you can reach out and talk like we are accessible. If we're not accessible at that moment, we will definitely get back to you. We are not certain. I'm looking to be certified in marriage and relationship counseling. It kind of blends into what we were saying. I haven't really talked about it because there's my schedule and time and stuff like that. So our topic today, it's pretty much, hustlers, dream chasers, and homemakers. So pretty much we're hustlers in this house. When I say we're hustlers, like we're getting to stuff. So I'll start off because just my way around, like I've had every job imaginable. I've done it. I've been a teacher. I've been a firefighter, volunteer at that time, but I've been a firefighter. I've been in the military. What else have I done? Like I've worked all kind of menial jobs. I've been a director. I've worked for the state. I've done so many different things. And then I'm at a point where I'm just trying to stabilize and settle. And there's a few things that I care about. One is my schedule. I have a pretty good schedule, despite the fact that I technically work 3 jobs. But my schedule allows me to do these things in a way that I still have time for myself. I still have time for my family. I can choose the hours that I work. Because I have 2 per diem jobs. So if it's just for extra money, extra things to save, goals, vacation. Sometimes it's just a little getaway, and it's just like, hey, I got an extra however much, like we're just gonna go somewhere and stuff like that. Like, so for me, that's important, more so than the whole idea of a title and things like that. That's becoming more important to me. But like I was telling her before, I said I never really had any real aspirations as far as career, because I was always told go to school. I went to school. I got a bachelor's degree in speech communication. I took a year off, and then I went back. I got a master's degree in organizational management. I've been in the mental health IDD field since 2006. It's something I just kind of fell into and consistently have done. It was 2 years where I think I wasn't doing it, and I worked in manufacturing. It was great pay. The job was really easy, but I just didn't feel like I was reaching anybody. There was no relationship building outside of the people that you work with, but I didn't feel like I was really doing too much. So I'm glad to be back, where I'm at now and being in a management capacity and things like that. But for me, it's just making sure that I'm doing my job to the best of my ability, making sure that financially I'm doing the things I have to do to make sure that our family has what we need. And if I'm not, then figuring out a way to continue to do that. Because that's my goal. That's my thing. Like, I don't need to be a CEO. I don't have the entrepreneurial spirit per se. But I'm starting to develop it in a way, because I do want to get into public speaking. I do want to get out into public. There was a few things I had set up for this year. COVID came and kind of changed it. So I'm thinking that was God's way of saying, you know what, still some time to wait. And one of the things that came to fruition because of that, though, is this podcast. Mm-hmm. So actually, I think I might be reaching more people and getting myself out there more via the podcast than I would have otherwise. So I think it's a blessing in disguise. So anybody who is watching this and they get to know me, you might see me out somewhere. You might hear about me, but like, I know that name, I know that person, and then the opportunity can blossom from there. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of me speaking that kind of stuff into existence. But for me, I want to make sure that I'm stable and I'm secure as far as my family's concerned. And also, one of the reasons why I really want to make sure that maintains is because Faith has been growing and getting to where she needs to as far as her career is concerned. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure that I'm supporting her in those ways. So we're going to, after she goes, we're going to talk about like the conflicts that happen when people kind of, there's kind of like an intertwining of like career goals and aspirations. Somebody wants to go back to school, somebody wants to stay home and raise the kids and things like that, and how that can be problematic. So you need to make sure that you're meeting your significant other, your spouse, the person you're living with, whoever, halfway to understand like they have goals and they have dreams, and if you're not going to be able to help them, then you really have to look at how that relationship works, because everybody should have their own thing, because some things aren't permanent. Mm-hmm. Marriages dissolve, other relationships dissolve and stuff like that. We don't want to see that. That's not what the goal is. But if for some reason me and Faith were to not be together, and she didn't have her career and she didn't have a way to take care of herself and support herself, then how is she going to take care of herself if I'm no longer here, I'm no longer around? And I think that some people, they tend to, oh, Jax made an appearance. Yeah. We got a guest today. Say hi, Jax.
He wanted to make a cameo.
Say hi, Jax.
He came over to say hi.
Hi. But you just want to make sure that you're doing the best that you can to help the person that you're with continue to grow, continue to thrive, continue to do the best that they can in their field. If you're with a cop, and you know, they come in as a cadet, then they move on to a sergeant, move on to a lieutenant, keep pushing them to become a captain, a chief, whatever the case may be. If you're with a teacher, push them to become a principal, a vice principal, whatever the case may be. So just continue to help motivate and push in the ways that you can to help your significant other reach their heights, because some people, they just don't, because they feel like they're not able to. So just please keep continuing going forward. But go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. So that's basically like where he's coming from. But like me, I think I'm a little bit of both between a hustler and a dream chaser. So. But sometimes I feel like maybe I'm just not, I hold myself back because I'm like afraid of failure. And I'm sure I'm not the only one out there who is like that. But like I have been in the cosmetology field, hairdressing specifically, for, oh my goodness, how long has it been? 15?
I was about to say it's been 18, since you were 18?
It's been since 2006.
So close to 15.
Yeah, so been since then that I've been in the industry, and I got my license for cosmetology back in 2006, and then I've been in different salons, different settings, all kinds of stuff, and then back in 2015 I decided I want to do this, but like I feel like I need to move forward somehow. So like the next logical step for me was to go back to school for my teachers.
Nope. I'm not going to let,
What?
I'm not letting that slide. Why did you go back to school?
To get my teachers.
Why did you go back to school? I'm not letting this slide.
I'm confused as the question.
Who told you to do it?
I mean, you encouraged me, but it's something that I had been thinking about before that.
This is 27, so okay, whatever.
So
I'm not going to let anybody take my credit and my shine.
He
for
encouraged
nothing.
me to go.
I'm not.
It was definitely something like he helped me like get that last little push that I needed. Because it was something that I had thought about. And like I said, it was just maybe something that I was procrastinating on because I didn't want to like do something that was maybe too hard.
It was outside of her comfort zone.
Yeah. So like, I'm like, it's still cosmetology, but am I going to be a good teacher? Like that kind of thing. So, and I mean, I had taught dance. Like I've been in the dance world as well, since that's even longer, since I was 10. I've been dancing, and I danced competitively, and then I was a teacher for a competitive dance team and all kinds of stuff. So like
tap, jazz, modern,
lyrical ballet, hip-hop, like
I just wanted to clarify the type of dancing that's happened.
And then So like I knew that I could teach that. So I was like, well, maybe I could teach something else. So I went back, I got my license, and I love teaching. Teaching is like really a lot of fun. And that became the goal. So
I would be a teacher again.
yeah.
If I could be.
Yeah, that became the goal. Like after I got my license, the goal became to find a teaching position. And I had a few part-time positions, I had a few substitute positions. Nothing ever like enough to like pay the bills and like make me comfortable. So I always had to keep one or two actually other part-time jobs in addition to teaching. So that's why I say maybe like I'm kind of a hustler too, because I always had multiple jobs. But that was just out of necessity, not because I want to. The goal has always been to get one job that is well paid enough to sustain and even like progress. So that is something that is, fingers crossed, happening as we speak. Like I am in the process of becoming a full-time cosmetology teacher at a school that I am currently working at as a part-time esthetician teacher, which is also outside of my comfort zone. But since I have my my cosmetology license, I can teach skin, I can teach nails, I can teach all of that. So so when the opportunity arose, instead of saying, no, that's not something that I can teach, I said, sure, like, let's jump in both feet. Like, let's do this. So, so that's kind of where I am now. And if this happens, God willing, it'll be a game changer for me. So, and us, obviously, in addition to, but it's definitely something that I'm excited about. So,
yeah. And it's not been an easy role. When we were married the first time, she worked for like a chain hairdresser, so
yeah.
right. So at that point, I had made money. I knew about money. I've taken care of myself. I bought a house. Like I've done a lot of things. And I remember when I found out how much she made, and I was like, it took me back because I was just like, why are you?
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain, but I was like, why are you making that much money? Like, why are you working a job that only pays that much? And to her, it just didn't register. So we had a lot of conflicts about finances. Just because I felt like she didn't understand, like, you can make more. I
deserve more.
Yeah, like, and it's just like, oh, well, this isn't, like, it was like, this is enough. But I'm like
I was living paycheck to paycheck, but I was always able to pay everything. And it was one of those things that it was like, it was what I wanted to do. I didn't want to, like, I went to school for cosmetology. I wanted to do it. I was good at it. And it paid what it needed to pay. But
it was conflicting because after we got married, there were things that we wanted to do and things that we needed to do, and like I've said in the past, like faith, like I always had an idea of what would happen when I was with somebody, and so being like equally or even more evenly, even if she didn't make the money, it's just having a mindset of understanding the process of what having more money does. Like so, it was one of those things that was really challenging, especially because I got in some trouble. I lost my good job, and then there was a struggle for like God has blessed me exponentially in being able to move past so many of my indiscretions. But there was a time, and I'm going to just throw a number out. There was a time I was making $7.36 or 38 cents an hour, and when I say God will do it, I had a car payment of $537 at a Chrysler 300. Our rent was only like $750. Was still paying daycare at the time. I have no clue. And that's the hustle. Because I know for a fact, I remember I worked for Nissan Foods, the place that makes the little cup of noodles. I cleaned sludge and all that type of stuff. I worked for a car wash for a little bit. I made tips. I drove cars at an auction. Like, I was hustling because I was doing whatever was possible because I had a family to take care of. I had stuff to take care of. It was conflicting, though, because
I didn't have the ability to. And I didn't want to.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Like, there was a lot of, like, some of the jobs that I could have physically done.
Just didn't want to
I didn't want to do them because they were either, like, a third shift job or something like that. And that's something that has changed this time around.
Yeah.
I have more of an understanding of how to do that kind of stuff. It sucks. Like, I worked third shift for a while this time around and hated it. Like, he'll tell you.
But that's why when it came to a point and I understood how much you disliked it, Before, I might have been more like, well, you just got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
This time around, I've been a lot more like, it's not so much because she did it.
Yeah.
She did it, and it wasn't. But I saw how it was. I saw what was going on with her internally, and just some things that were happening with her, and I was just like, babe, just quit. But I was like, there's things we have to do. It's just like I tell my daughter, right? I'm not a dreamer. Never been a dreamer. I'm a realist. I'm about what's in front of me. It's probably why I don't have a super entrepreneurial spirit, because I don't like risks. I don't like risk because if I take the wrong risk, she's affected, my daughter's affected, and we don't have a support system.
Right.
Like, if I don't make money and I'm not able to take care of stuff, there's only so much she can take care of and stuff like that. We're in a very bad position. So that weight is constantly on me. So I made a few small investments. I hope to make a few bigger investments that kind of reap some dividends. Like it's a learning curve, and I'm trying to learn and look into certain things. But I'm not going to say, oh yeah, this is all the money that we have. Let's put it on this, and then just going to. And I was like, we can't afford to have those risks because we have goals, we have things that we want to try to accomplish, and life is going to happen too. So we have to make sure that we're at least above to be able to make sure that when life happens, those things happen.
Right.
But I remember when she got the salon job she currently has, and it's a commission job.
Yeah.
And we had a discussion, and pretty much, like I said, what I tell my daughter is like, my daughter wants to be a singer or something like that. And there's a conversation with that. But I said, if you want to be a singer or artist or anything like that, understand those things don't just pay. Everybody doesn't just wake up and become Beyonce or Billie Eilish, whoever is out here right now. There's a lot of work that gets put in. There's people who've been homeless. There's people who've been just broke and not have. So I was like, you have to find a way to make money too. So like, if you want to be a singer, then maybe you should learn a trade. Maybe you should. What else would you like to do? Like having backup plans and things like that.
Yeah.
So now Faith has understood what a backup plan looks like. So with the pandemic, this was a blessing too. When the pandemic hit, we weren't vast. She didn't work at her salon, but she worked.
Right.
Because
I had a part-time job that was considered essential. So.
Right, and that's part. And I'm going to point that out because I'm getting on my credit. Men, if you're watching, and that's part of the leadership. I got her the job. I told her to take this job because it's a job where you can create your own schedule, you give your own hours,
right?
You get paid weekly and stuff like that, and there's a sliding scale for some of the cases and things like that.
Yeah.
So when I told her to take this, I said, hey, you don't always have to do this, but I was like, if you have a week at the salon where things aren't really going well, you might need to pick up a few hours to kind of make that difference.
Right.
And it's not even so. I don't. Well, it's the money's not. For me, it's not even for us per se. It kind of covers.
And like the other thing with that is like, so I wanted to work at the salon. I thought it was definitely a salon that I could move forward in, which it definitely is a great salon. I love the location. The people are great. Like it's definitely something that has propelled me in my skills and ability and all that stuff. But I knew that starting out, since it was commission based, I would probably not be making that much money. So I was like, I know I need to have another job so that I can supplement what I need to. And like he said, it pays weekly. It's a like home health aide type job. So like I was going into people's homes and helping with their kids, and it was it's a good job. Like it was fulfilling. Like it was something that needed to be done. And that was great. And then also, like to show how much of a hustler I am, I also am a substitute teacher at different. I was at that point when we first moved here. I got us 2 substitute positions, one at BCTC and one at Empire, and then I also taught dance class. So I had all these different jobs, not because I wanted to, because ideally you have one job. Well, yeah, dance.
But dance also helps with Arabella's. It helped with her tuition and things like that.
Right. So, because Arabella wanted to take dance, if I was teaching, then she got to do that for next to nothing. So it was great. So yeah, I was kind of doing all of those things, and it was a lot. And when I would tell people, they'd look at me like I was crazy. But
and it's
it has led me to
piecemeal.
Right.
You have to piecemeal.
It was kind of like because I didn't have any job that was like all the time.
You never worked a 40-hour a week job.
Not one job for 40 hours. No.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But I've worked well over 40 hours a week.
Oh well, I know, but never do one, and that's like another opposite with us because I'm very consistent, but I'm at a point in my life, thankfully, where I can kind of make my schedule. The last few jobs that I've had, office work mostly, and I'm fortunate to be able to make my schedule. I'm fortunate enough to be salaried. There's a lot of things that come with that. But just going back to where we were, because it is important to understand my growth.
Yes.
Like I said, the first time it was more problematic because financial, especially because we needed it more the first time around, and just the fact that she was just like it was a refusal, and I think that was another thing that kind of added to the break, and we don't usually talk about that, but that definitely was something that added to the break because it was a lot of weight on me. It was a lot of pressure. I remember coming home some days and she's watching TV or something like that, and in my head I'm just like, and I'm historically very passive aggressive, so I just remember those times. But so like this time we had the conversation. I'm like, if you feel confident about this, I'm going to trust you as my wife, and this is husbands, boyfriends, whatever. I had to trust her because she was excited. She wanted to take the job, and I said, if you want to take it, fine, go ahead. And then she got the other job and everything like that. And so I don't ask her about money. I don't ask her about it. I don't talk to her about it.
We have our bills that we pay independently, and we have a joint account that we put money into for savings. But yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't want to know because even now, because I'm just like, you don't make like in my head. There's like so much, because if I hear it, I'm like, you can be doing more. There can be more that can be happening. But like she just said, at one point she had 5 separate jobs. And I'm just like, how does that, I had to get myself out of my head to understand that there was a long game at play here. So it was just like consistently. So it was like she would kind of get a little comfortable, and then it's like, are you looking for sub jobs? Are you looking for teacher jobs? Are you looking for this? And I know sometimes she's probably like, I already have 2 sub jobs, but I'm just like, what else is available?
Right.
What up? Keep going, because I was like, what's the goal? And like, the goal is for me to have a teaching job and whatever. So even now, when the teacher job came up, when it first hit, there was a conflict because she was like, I can't give this up, and I'm not going to give this up, and I'm just like. The goal is one job, and that was a problem. And I was just like, how do we even get here? But I got to the point a long time ago where I understood that she needed support and that this is something that she enjoys doing. That helps our household out. There's a lot of people out there who have jobs that you don't like, you don't enjoy, you don't feel appreciated by. That carries over. You're not going to yell at your boss. You're not going to yell at the customers. You're not going to yell at other stakeholders. Who's going to get that ire, that wrath? It's going to be your significant other. It's going to be your children. It's going to be your friends to some degree. So it's very important to understand that if somebody's like, well, I want to go back to school, what does that look like for our family? I don't care who you are, ask that question. Men, ask the question. And I'm going to say something that some women might too. A lot of women want to be the boss. They want to be independent. If you're married, if you're married, there's things that should be deferred to the husband. It doesn't mean he controls everything.
Right.
So stop that. What it means is that if you're married and you're saying, I want to go back to school, and you're providing half the income for the home, and you going back to school means you can't work. Well, if your husband's like, well, how are we going to come up with this extra money? And you're just kind of like, that's a problem, because it's like, wait a minute, I can support you, and I want you to do what you want to do, but we have an extra $2,000 a month that we have to make up. And if that person looks at you and like, well, you're going to have to make it up.
Yeah.
There is no way to really support somebody when you're like, I have to come up with a whole another $2,000 a month and support you in an endeavor that you just decided to do, and you're stuck on the idea of doing it, and there was no real discussion, because a lot of people, they get something in their mind like, I want to go back to school, I want to do this, and it's like, well, we have kids, we have schedules, we have different things going on, so you have to make sure that you are really concentrating on the topics that people don't want to. We talked about this, people do not want to talk about these hard. No, I'm sorry, I talked about this with somebody last night, and there was something I realized. People hate making or talking about the hard stuff. Like, people despise it. Like, we talked about sex last time. Nobody wants to really talk about the negative nature of sex. Nobody wants to talk about the negative nature of finances. Nobody wants to talk about, infidelity or things like that, the potential infidelity. No one wants to talk about anything that could be problematic, especially if it didn't happen yet. But what people tend to do is they wait till after the thing happens, after there's a problem, now you want to talk about it. You're not being proactive. So that problem is now compounded by the fact that you had time to kind of look at things and say, okay, if you want to go back to school, how about you wait 6 months? How about you wait a year? What's the rush?
Right.
What are the goals? Can you work part-time? Is there night classes? And that person might say, I don't want to do it. That's a discussion. You have to be able to meet halfway. You have to be able to compromise because you want people to grow. You want them to continue to do the best they can for themselves. But when you start settling in life, you can't say, all right, I want to have a kid right now. Well, that's one of the things that we're like, want to have a kid, we don't have a support system.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop working to take care of the child? Like, it's going to be it's a very daunting thing. It's a conversation that I fear every time I think about it, simply because I understand what it all means. But I know it's conversations that have to happen, and I might have to draw a hard line, and that could create issues. And I know people don't want to create the issue, but things are going to happen anyway. It's always going to come to light. These problems that you're sweeping under the rug and you're pushing back, they're going to come to light anyway. Mm-hmm. So, when I say hustle, it's just do what you have to do.
Yeah.
At all times, do what you have to do. Keep your dreams as much as you can. Work on your dreams. But you have to take care of your home. You have
work on them in a realistic and like a realistic way. Have a clear image of what you want. Because saying I want to be a boss, like that's not. You have to be like, okay, this is the area that I want to work in. I want to be the second in charge or whatever. However high you want to go, know how high you want to go and the steps you need to do to get there and how long you might have to wait. And the
sacrifices that it takes to be there. If you want to be the boss or the CEO or whatever, there's sacrifices. And there's sacrifices you might not be willing to make. One of the reasons I haven't gone further in some areas, I don't want to sacrifice that time with my family. I don't want people calling me any hour of the day with their problems. When I'm home, I'm home. Right. Like, and some people are like, why don't you more? You can make more money and stuff. I want to make as much money as I can and still be able to have time to myself. Yeah. Not burn out myself, because you want to know what? Somebody can pick me out that pile and change, and that business is going to keep running like clockwork because we're indispensable. One who's not indispensable, she is not indispensable. My child is not, and neither am I. So make sure that you keep all those things in mind when you're hustling, when you're bustling, when you're trying to grow, when you're trying to do more things. Put you first and the people that matter. Prioritize. Yeah. Hustle. Do what you got to do. Take care of business. Life is life. But prioritize as much as you can.
Yeah. So, I think that's all the time we have. But I feel like we touched on everything that we wanted to.
Yes, we did. So, we're not going to... So, this is going to be our last podcast for the next 2 weeks. So, not next week, but I can't even think of the date.
Right.
So, this is going to be our last one. So, it's going to be a couple weeks. So, if you're looking for some content, go to the YouTube, go to the Instagram. You'll see different stuff. But the topical content, we're not doing this for another 2 weeks. I'm not sure what topic we're doing. I came up with like 23 to 30 different topics and stuff.
We'll be good for a while.
Yeah, we'll be good for a while. So we will see you. We appreciate you. So once again, keep your faith strong.
And maintain justice. Bye. Bye.